Joseph YouTube, welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Tyrese Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Tyrese's ex-wife, Samantha Lee, opens up about filing for divorce from Tyrese. Now, the headline quotes her saying, "If I had different people in my ear at that time, I would have not made that decision." So what decision, might you ask, is she talking about? Well, of course she's talking about that decision of filing for divorce. But then that begs the question, are we really surprised at this point? Well, you shouldn't be, because countless times I present different situations on my channel, and whether it's the Tia Maris or the chicks on TikTok and the general public who throw divorce parties celebrating their divorce and parting ways from their family, breaking their vows, etc. Where do they end up? Crying about being single, alone, regretting their decision. We are not surprised. And this also poses another question concerning this specific chick, Samantha Lee. By the way, guys, I didn't know that this woman is online right now doing sort of like coffee content, right? Like I'm the woman who now realizes I made the mistake of divorcing my man, like RP stuff, manosphere type content. And I've seen her face before, but I did not know that this was Tyrese's ex-wife. Can you believe that? I had to drink that coffee.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
More on that later. But here's the question, is she genuine? Does she honestly regret her decision? More specific, is she taking steps right now currently to alleviate the pain and stress that she's caused Tyrese? Because we've seen this man cry real tears over this situation. Yes, maybe I made fun of him here and there once in a while, but let's be honest, divorce isn't easy for anybody, especially men, in the beginning. But whether this woman actually means the things that are about to come out of her mouth, I'll leave you to decide and to be the judge of that. And of course, I'll give my take on the situation. No more wasting time. Let's get it.
Because I would never tell, I work with women. I would never tell a woman to walk through that in the same frame of mind I was in when I did it.
And when you say that, but what frame of mind was that? What do you mean by that in particular?
I was very, very hurt. I was very angry. And I remember like when I made like the decision, I was like hysterically crying on the phone with my attorney. That was not the person I should have been on the phone with when, like, that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway.
Would you look at that?
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
Who did she decide to call in her moments of deciding whether she should initiate that divorce? Her attorney, not her pastor, not her therapist, who I'm assuming she had. Nobody else was available. Really? You called your attorney? Are you serious? Merci. Let's keep listening.
I was hysterically crying. And I was not in any position to make that decision. I was extremely emotionally intoxicated. We can be intoxicated with our emotions. And I'm very much emotionally led. I feel very strongly. I'm just that kind of person, very passionate.
You're emotional intoxication. You're not that kind of person, ma'am. You are a woman.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Oh yeah, it's hot today. Yeah. We're serving it hot today. Yeah. Get your coffee mugs.
But I would never tell somebody to make that decision when they're that emotional. But of course I wasn't talking to someone that genuinely would be for marriage.
Really?
Or for reconciliation. And that's not no slight to my
No, it's the
current friends.
It has nothing. There's no slight to that. Not the friends, but I was on the phone with my attorney.
Yeah.
So it was something that was being said to me that hurt me at that time. And that So at that time when I was on the phone and I made that decision, I was livid. The truth about the matter is that if I had different people in my ear at that time, I would not have made that decision. No.
Wow.
I wouldn't. And that's the truth. I try my very best at this point in my life to be what I didn't have in that moment.
I don't want to skip over what she just said there. She said, if I had different people in my ear at that time, I wouldn't have made that decision. So she's saying that she was influenced by the people around her. There also seems to be like an avoidance of accountability, right? Of course. But let's take what she said into consideration here. And that is true. The people who you choose to listen to on a consistent basis, if they don't want what's best for you, or if they encourage you to adopt this modern mindset mentality, then yes, that is going to rub off on you negatively. On this channel, I hope that what you hear encourages you to avoid women like this. So that means that you will find a woman out there who's not being swayed by people who are encouraging her to think like a modern woman. If you really think about how a lot of women are taught through platforms like TikTok and the media to not respect marriage and honor their vows, etc. No wonder they enter marriages with this mindset that will almost guarantee failure. And then you think of the women around them, their friends, right? What type of mindset are they encouraging them to have? Let's keep listening.
Because I think that women were like, I'm an extremely emotional person. People that know me know that about me. I'm the kind of person that like, okay, I feel so strong, and I can ruminate. I can get so lost in my thoughts. I know a lot of women are like that. Like we're
almost every single one, maybe. Come on, guys. Comment down below, man. Is she's acting like she's some type of special chick who doesn't get frantic with decisions. We all know, man. Women sometimes they get excited and they'll get really motivated and emotional and etc. And they make decisions that are based on emotion. That's why a lot of ads, commercials are targeted towards women. This is why lesbian couples have the highest DV cases, and their divorce rate is like, it's what, 75% or something like that. Let's keep listening.
A lot, not all of us, right? But some of us are. Just like a lot of men can be like that. But I know women specifically, there will be moments where they'll be like, I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to be done. I can't stand this. He don't do this. He don't do that. Blah, blah. And then when you get lawyers involved, and there was a therapist that was speaking to both me and him, a marital therapist at the time, that when I told him my decision, he was like, when you get lawyers involved, it gets ugly. He told me that. And, I didn't even realize, I don't think I even realized how ugly it would get, and like I said, if I could walk back in time, sometimes I battle with myself about that. But at that time, I thought I was doing the right thing or the best thing. I didn't know how ugly it could get. And I know a lot of women, we make that decision and we're so hurt and angry. And then 5-6 months later, you're not that angry anymore. Like, oh, this kind of like still care about him. I kind of still have these feelings for him now.
Are you now in the spirit of potentially even being able to rekindle a relationship, like rekindle that relationship? Is your spirit in that place, or
good question?
Could it ever go back to that place?
It's loaded because of the fact that there's been so much that's happened. Like there's been so much that's occurred.
Yeah, like hundreds of thousands of dollars of attorney's fees and child support that was caused by you.
Okay. He's my daughter's father. So I would say this. I would say that if we were both going to show up and we were both going to fight for it equally and sacrifice equally. Like, things that I needed and, things that, he needed. I wasn't perfect. Come on.
Yeah.
Your girl ain't perfect. So I would say that if we were both willing to fight and we were both willing to do certain things, then yes.
All right, guys. So there you go. That's it. Here's my question to you guys. You heard it for yourself. What did you take from that? Specifically, do you truly think that she regrets and is being honest about looking back and being a changed person looking back? Or do you think she regrets the consequences of her decisions? The fact that she probably realizes now that she was overly emotional. And when I say true change, what I mean is Tyrese is obviously still being held liable for a lot. I don't know what, but has she reversed a lot of those fees that he's been paying her currently and in the past, right? That's the question. Because I'll be honest, guys, I didn't know what to expect when I was actually researching this story. But I found out that I've seen her a couple of times on TikTok. Why am I on TikTok? Well, of course, I got to find content for you guys. But I've seen her face pop up a couple of times, and I actually didn't know that this was Tyrese's ex-wife. And after seeing this from a wider vantage point, I think she's full of shit. That's what I think. If you aren't familiar with her TikTok content, it sounds a lot like this. Check it out.
All right, y'all. Do not get married until you can do these 4 things. Y'all, I'm speaking from experience, okay? I've learned lessons the hard way, and I believe God allowed me to make those mistakes to help prevent others from making the same ones. So let's get into it, family. Number 1, until you have perfected the art of forgiving, becoming a professional forgiver. Number 2, until you are able to delete divorce as an option, or until you are able to not run away when things get hard. Number 3, until you are able to take accountability, full accountability for your actions. And lastly, number 4, until you are able to kill your ego. It says in the Bible, Proverbs 16:18, pride goes before destruction and arrogance before a fall. You'd be surprised how many marriages have been killed, have been destroyed by pride and ego.
All right. So there you go. And I hate to admit this, guys, but I'm almost starting to think I might have done a video on her, not even knowing that she is who she is, and just reacted to some snippet. I don't know for sure, man. There's hella content on the channel at this point. I don't know. But I'm looking at her, I'm like, yo, her face looks familiar. And I'm going over there scrolling through videos on TikTok. I'm like, yeah, I've seen this chick before, man. And now she's doing this sort of like RP style content. So here's where things get interesting, guys. Tyrese actually responded back to her viral moment and video. Before we check that out, we're going to check out some of these comments here and see what the people have to say. First comment here says, y'all owe Tyrese a huge apology and grace. He lost his mom to COVID, wife, and fought to see his daughter, and the internet trolled. Next comment here from another woman says, Tyrese was right. That man was gaslighted and manipulated, called crazy, and bashed when she was the problem the whole time. So people aren't buying this whole time. So it looks like people are speaking up and starting to support what Tyrese has been saying about his ex-wife this whole time. Another comment here says, so you let someone else decide your path and your future? That's wild. Now, of course, we're going to have the women here pretending like they don't get influenced by social media, their friends around them, and not their men. And husbands and their vows and the Bible and Christianity, like a lot of them claim to follow. Got another comment here from another person that says, I wish the FBI would do a RICO sweep and confiscate all this podcast equipment. Somebody else here says, Tyrese has moved on. She is playing with him mentally. She had plenty of time to change her mind and didn't. Now that he's dating someone else, she wants to talk about potentially making it work. Girl, bye. I gotta back up this comment. Something about the way she just sounded, something about the way this whole thing came up. It sounds very similar to Brittany Renner trying to use her narrative and story to kind of get in the space and topic of relationships and dating, modern dating. Another comment here says, so basically Tyrese wasn't lying, that he was indeed blindsided. You left him at his lowest point. 5K likes on that comment, which is followed by another comment that says it's given the money ran out. With the laughing emojis, could it be that the money's running out? And that's why she's choosing to talk about coming back. Another woman here says, I don't know. I honestly don't want to hear it because she let him go through all that, looking crazy, to now want to speak out. What's the motivation? Everybody wants to know. Somebody else here says, that's why you keep people out your relationship. Somebody else here says, laughing emojis, that's 90% of women listening to their miserable friends. Come on, now speak.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Serving coffee. Somebody else here added, so somebody who benefits from divorce told you to get divorced. With the shoulder shrug. Another comment here, another woman says, sat there and played in this man's face this entire time. Exclamation mark. Had the public laughing at him and you blindsided him with a divorce over some small mess. Tyrese had a full nervous breakdown in front of the entire world and we laughed at him. We did. Me included. I mean, the man became a meme. It was kind of hard not to laugh. And she goes on to say, I hope he never goes back to the woman. Now, to be fair, man, if we look at the chick Tyrese is with now, she's like an IG model, which then also, you know, is kind of like, hey, man, what are you doing? Right? But let's keep going here. Then came a second headline featuring Tyrese. This was Tyrese responding that read, Tyrese calls his ex-wife heartless while addressing her comments regarding their divorce. No more wasting time. Let's get it.
All right. Hold on. Look, man, I was not going to respond to this video of my ex that's now gone viral. She is loving it. Congratulations, you went viral again over something else that you said. She may be saying that she was thinking about, no, if you had people in your ear when you left me, those same people are in your ear 3 years later. Lawyers are still on my back every day. Go sell this shit to somebody else. Look at every interview I've done, from Sway in the Morning to the Breakfast Club to everything that I've been posting and everything that I've been saying. And if you don't like me, nigga, I don't like you.
Let's not skip over the fact that he said the lawyers are still on his back. Can she alleviate that stress? Can she go lower in what she expects for child support? If not that, then is he just doomed to face the consequences of her bad decisions, of her emotional, like she put it, decisions? Maybe he's still paying off. Most likely he is. Still paying off lawyers, for legal fees, etc. What it sounds like is she's presenting like she regrets what she did, but behind the scenes, he's still getting pressured for money. Let's keep listening.
I don't need none of you women in my comments saying they like me. I don't care to be liked. I got my heart broke. I was married. I was with this woman for 5 years. I never cheated. I got more access to than most niggas I know. I was a good man, a good husband, and very, very focused on my family and my children. And the $2,500 or $2,600 that I was giving Samantha since she decided to, because you're trying to build up your YouTube page and get your followers up. Listen, man, listen. If you had people in your ear that influenced you into leaving your husband and your 1-year-old child, your innocent 1-year-old child, we both were divorcee kids, grew up in toxic environments, torn in between our old family, new family, stepfather, stepmother. That's a life that we both lived. And you packed up a 1-year-old, put a COVID mask on top of the Ring cameras, and I was literally in an airplane on my way home to fight for my marriage and my family. You're heartless. None of your friends recognize you. This is all about money. If you had friends in your ear, you're lying, you're gaslighting, you're playing. The only person that was in your ear was your mama. Her name is Patricia Randolph.
Damn, name drop. Let's keep listening.
You didn't have people in your ear. The amount of people that was supposedly in your ear, you also had a whole lot of people like Aventer Gray, Taffy Dollar, Creflo Dollar's wife, who married us. You had a whole lot of people in your ear telling you that you're about to do something stupid, impulsive, and y'all are actually not going through anything that would make you want to leave your husband. Let's go even further. When Aventer Gray and Pastor John Gray were having their own marital issues at the time, you arranged a therapy session with Aventer Gray at our house. And when she walked out of her therapy session, she walked into the foyer where the Bumblebee is, and there was 50 boxes with like 7 or 8 people there packing up all to leave the house.
Tyrese with the details and receipts. Let's keep listening.
And I was in an airplane on my way home to try and fight and save our marriage. So if you had people in your ear at the time, they must be still in your ear, because you're still trying to get $20,000 a month for a 5-year-old. You make $160,000 a year on your own. This is all a game. You're clout chasing. You're something that I don't even know.
A phony.
A simple woman, not into materialistic things, don't care about fame and mansions and popularity. You're everything that you told me and all of your friends and loved ones that you wasn't. If you wanted to be famous, boo-boo, that's all you had to say. You didn't have to play this game that you wasn't.
Right.
Now you out here playing on single mothers and their emotions, playing on women that are actually in abusive relationships and marriages that are toxic and dark and dysfunctional. That's not what that was.
Right.
You think I would have a song entitled I Don't Think You Ever Loved Me if I didn't really feel that way? You think I would have a song out called Love Transaction if I didn't realize that it was never love, it was just a transaction? This shit is money.
Wow. So Tyrese said something there that I think is worth going into more detail about. He said, you lied to everybody about who you truly were. And even worse than that, she lied to him. And you might be wondering, well, what did she lie about exactly? Well, she lied about who she was and how she first presented herself to Tyrese during the beginning of their relationship. Here's him actually sharing that himself. Let's check it out.
This was a woman that was very simple, who I met in a $12 sundress and prided herself on being simple. And I don't care about money, stars, celebrities. I don't need to live and be around. I'm a simple girl. Now you want $20,000 a month for a 1-year-old? Now you've hired 3 law firms? My prenuptial agreement was so detailed and so extensive. My lawyer whispered, she had her own lawyer to negotiate on her behalf. My lawyer, Tanya Mitchell Graham, said to me, I can't believe you got her to sign this. And I said, well, the reason I got her to sign it is because she said to me specifically, this ain't mine. That's your publishing. Those your cars. It's your house. And if we ever separated because I didn't get in this for any of that, I will sign every piece of paperwork that reflects that I don't want none of that. To then want nothing more than to show a nigga that that's all she wants.
Wow. There you go, guys. You heard it for yourself. And you might be asking, wait, so Tyrese had a prenup. Most people know that by now. But if you don't, you're thinking, how did he get effed over so badly? Well, if you want to know that, my recommendation is to make sure you go check out the lead attorney's channel, where he goes into detail on multiple videos about what exactly happened that went wrong with Tyrese's prenup. And it wasn't the actual prenup, but it was a mistake that was made during his divorce that led to problems and him getting bled out very, very horribly by attorney's fees and also child support. But the attorney's fees cost a lot more. For you guys that don't know, Tyrese was ordered to pay over $600,000 in child support and attorney's fees. So this was about $237,000 in child support and back child support and $399K in attorney's fees. How? Well, in short, Tyrese's outrageous attorney fees were the result of a mistake made by the arbiter who was presiding over the case. Now, guys, of course, I'm not an attorney. You can head over to Lead Attorney to get more detailed explanation of this. But simply put, Tyrese's prenup stated that if the parties came to an agreement on the divorce and they didn't have to fight about anything, then he would pay her attorney's fees. He would pay the attorney fees of the woman he was married to if they came to an agreement. So obviously them coming to an agreement would be cheaper because then they wouldn't have to spend more time going back and forth with attorneys in court and then thus bleeding Tyrese out of a bunch of money. So he basically was incentivizing whoever he would be married to come to an agreement with him. But the prenup also stated that if the case was contested and they fought, then she would be responsible. The person who he would be married with, the other party, would be responsible for their attorney's fees. Well, what happened? Well, where things went south was when the arbiter thought the case was not contested. He thought they came to an agreement and they weren't fighting. This was a mistake, by the way, and during arbitration, they went along with that narrative, which resulted in Tyrese being responsible for her attorney's fees, which totaled $399K. So this was the mistake that resulted in him getting effed over badly. So you may be thinking, why didn't they just fix it? Well, because the judge stated that his hands were tied due to the fact that Tyrese's attorneys didn't object to the mistake in a timely fashion. Now, of course, a bunch of people are going to listen to this, and a lot of guys are going to listen to this and say, well, why use a prenup if Tyrese got effed over so badly? However, it wasn't the prenup that failed Tyrese. This was a unique case. And the truth is, the prenup actually did protect Tyrese from many things like spousal support, which his ex-wife, the woman who's saying, I was wrong and I regret such and such, which she requested spousal support after only 3 years of marriage. To give you an idea of how ridiculous that is, most attorneys won't even go for spousal support if the marriage doesn't exceed 5 years. Now, of course, guys, I'm not going to argue with you about whether prenups work or not. I'm of the belief that when done correctly, they do work. After consulting many attorneys, studying and listening to other people's information, if you want to go argue with an attorney, go find an attorney to argue with. But that's how Tyrese was effed over so badly. As always, guys, we're going to check out some of these comments and see what people had to say in response to Tyrese's response to his ex-wife. This first comment here says, I was not going to respond. So they're quoting Tyrese, who started out his video stating that he wasn't going to respond to this, but, and the comment goes on to say, yes, the hell you were. Another comment here reads, one thing about Black Tie, he go name drop, give a timeline, and print out receipts. That's true. Another comment here says, to be honest, most of the stories with Tyrese end up showing us that he has a good heart and people take advantage of that. I really think he always means well, but the delivery be so wrong, this commenter says. Another woman here chimed in and says, I believe him. She's gaslighting. It's no way he left a marriage with no real issues warranting a divorce. No valid reason at the time, but now 4 years later, you want to do interviews about how other influences caused you to leave your husband? Sounds fishy to me too. Take real accountability, this woman says, and apologize to that man or shut up. I agree. Another comment here says, she literally admitted that she was out of line and y'all still defend her. Of course, they're modern women. They will ignore reality even if she's right here apologizing in front of our face. Let my boy have this one. This commenter says, LOL. Another person here says, Tyrese ain't tell no lies in the live though. Cause why she keep bothering that man and making him relive his pain? Another person here says, sending Tyrese love and healing. Men get their heart broken too. Yes, ma'am. We know. So guys, again, I ask you, what do you think of her viral clip and her moment of admitting that she was wrong and she regrets divorcing Tyrese? Do you think she's actually genuine about that? Or do you think, yeah, she realizes she effed up, but at the end of the day, she's not truly ready to change? This is her just looking for clout, looking for fame. This story is a very unfortunate one, especially for Tyrese, man. And a lot of lessons here to be learned. And if you're a man like myself who plans to provide a 2-parent household for your future family and children, then God be with you. And of course, protect yourself, because many of these modern women are in fact heartless. Shout out to Tyrese. Leave your comments down below. As always, I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of the Coffee Pod. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.